In this video, we're going to talk about how to budget for your 2021 goals. Whatever your goals are for 2021, whether you want to buy a house or get out of credit card debt or build an emergency fund, creating a budget can be a great first step to get you towards your goal. I know that making a budget can seem hard or confusing, but I'll show you just how simple it can be. Welcome back to our weekly series to help you get your money right. I'm Erika Kullberg. I'm a lawyer and a proud SoFi member. I paid off over $225,000 of student loans, and budgeting was key to making that happen. So I want to show you how a budget can be a powerful tool to get you towards your money goals this year. Step one, the first thing to think about is, what are your goals? Maybe in 2021, you've decided that you want to build up an emergency fund for those rainy days, or maybe you have credit card debt that has just been weighing you down, and this is the year you're going to tackle it. Whatever your goal, start by writing it down somewhere so as you're budgeting, you can remind yourself of that end goal that you're working towards. I'd also recommend being specific about your goal, like, I want to pay off my car loan by January 1st, 2022, to make it feel more real. And another great thing you can do is sharing your goal with others, or even taking it a step further and finding an accountability partner to check in with you. Next, step two, let's figure out what you're earning and spending each month. These will become the basic building blocks of your budget. First, let's start with your income. What are you making each month? And it's important to just think about after-tax income here. What's actually being deposited in your bank account after you account for taxes and any kind of retirement, savings, and health plans for which you've opted for automatic deductions. Next, let's figure out what you're spending. Your spending categories could include the things listed on the screen, like your rent or mortgage, school loans, and utilities. An easy way to do it might be to take a look at the past 30 days of spending. Where did your money go? Once you've done that, we're ready for step three, setting up your budget. What I recommend here is to keep it simple. If you overcomplicate it or have 50 different spending categories, it might be harder to stick to, so keep it really simple. For example, maybe you do something like the 50-20-30 budget, where you spend 50% of your after-tax income on essential expenses. Essential expenses could include things like housing costs, bills and utilities, education costs, and food. Then you spend 30% on discretionary expenses, your wants. This category could include shopping, entertainment like your Netflix subscription, takeout, hobbies, and other expenses that may not necessarily be considered essential. Finally, with the 50-20-30 budget, 20% would go towards your goal. The 50-20-30 budget is just an idea of something you could follow, but as you start this process, you'll figure out what works for you. Perhaps, let's say that putting 20% towards your goal is just unrealistic. Then maybe you look at if it's possible to put a smaller percentage towards your goal, or if you can take on a side job to make a little extra income to put towards your goal. The key is to find what works for you and consider setting an exact dollar amount for the maximum you want to spend in each category and exactly how much you want to put towards your goal each month. We're not striving for perfection here, so you don't want to be so hard on yourself that you get frustrated and quit right away. We want to take small steps that will help us get to our goals. So once you've created your budget, step four is to start tracking your expenses to see if you're on track to stay within your budget and meet your goal. And remember, you probably won't get it right the first month, but once you're proactive about tracking, you'll be able to make changes and adjustments to find out what works for you. You can track your expenses on an Excel sheet, or with pen and paper, or with the SoFi app, where you can track your weekly spending all within the app. If you end up overspending in one category, maybe you try to spend a little less in another category that month. Or you try to make up for it the next month so you're still on track. Or you might realize that the budget you set for that category was a little unrealistic, so you need to adjust it. When I set my goal to pay off my student loans and was trying to stay within my budget, I remember one month I had an unexpected medical expense, so I couldn't meet my goal that month. But instead of getting down about it and giving up on this whole budget, what I did was over the next few months, I tried to cut expenses where I could, just a little more. And what you'll realize with a budget is that it's going to be an iterative process, and you'll learn so much about your spending habits, patterns of behavior, and yourself that it's really a journey of self-discovery and growth. I remember years back when I was feeling just so terrible and overwhelmed by my student loans, and there just seemed to be no end in sight. Sitting down and creating a budget gave me that hope that I needed to see the finish line. With a budget, I had this path where I knew that if I could save enough to put a certain percentage of income each month towards my student loans, there would be a day when I would be debt-free. And with that budget, I eventually reached my goal, and you can reach yours too. So that is the power of a budget, is that it shows you the path. Otherwise, if you have no idea where your money is going and no plan for where your money will go, it's hard to be able to just predict when you'll reach your goal. Don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe. I'll be back next Wednesday with a brand new video to help you get your money right. And I'll see you next in this video where I talk about my top tips for paying off your student loans.